hold up now.
Oh.
Weren't we supposed to say what we're dropping at SEMA?
Oh. Talk.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 3, 2, 1.
What's up, y'all? It's Mariah and Josh, and this is our first ever podcast for Lifted Rippers. So welcome to the bloop show. First off, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this podcast, as it's our first one, we did clickbait you into here. We do have some horror stories. We have some confessions of shop owners from ourselves personally and what we're learning this far in advance. But because you're new here and we're new here, we're going to give you a little rundown of who we are. So Josh, I'll let you start it off.
First up, guys, I'm Josh. Started out in this very young. My father owned a construction company, and I kind of got bored with it. Started working on all the equipment. Realized I had a better knack for working on the equipment than I did my construction. It's not that it was better, I just had more fun with it. Started building my first truck at 14, typical 14-year-old stuff, chopping the exhaust, then threw an 8-inch lift on, and then it's been game on ever since.
You've been a diesel mechanic for like ever, right?
Basically, yeah. I got real good at diesel work. It didn't matter whether it was farm equipment, tractors, trucks. I could work on it all, didn't have a problem with it. Actually could fix things that other quote-unquote mechanics couldn't fix. Decided to go to school for it so I could make a little extra money at it instead of just going to my normal hometown mechanic shop and doing that. Went through mechanics, graduated, auto and diesel, went over to Peterbilt, did all the Peterbilt certifications, all that good jazz that Peterbilt offered. Was at Rush for a while, working on semis, doing mobile service, and that's basically where we ended up. Now it's how we got here.
That is lengthy, and I don't know if you understood all that because I didn't. But basically, before I met Josh, he was like way into this stuff. He was like semis, Rush, all sorts of diesel mechanic stuff. And that brings it to how we met. I was building, not me personally, but I had first stepped into this whole realm of truck stuff. And we had a mutual friend that was like, oh my gosh, you should meet my friend Josh. And I was like, no, I'm not wanting to date right now. So I like put him on the back burner forever. And then, we finally ended up meeting. And it's been game on since, as he likes to say. Are you ready to do this? So a little bit about backstory with us. We met through a mutual friend in the truck scene. He built trucks. I liked the pretty shiny trucks. I did really well on social media. I do a lot of fishing on social media and YouTube and TikTok, which I'm sure the guys already hate me for here at the shop. But we decided a couple of years into it, like, why are we not doing this together? Because we've had so many issues in the past with other shops and just watching what we can do together as a power team. So we did it, right?
That's right.
And I feel like we're doing all right. So we're a few years into this together. Lifted Rippers came about. Adam with Creative Customs helped us come up with the logos and the designs and all the names. We had a lot of different names picked.
Yeah.
Some that did not make it to the top, obviously. And I love our name.
It turned out good. We mixed the combination of basically fishing and trucks. She was known for her fishing. I mean, I fished, but I'm not famous like she is for the fishing. But I worked on trucks. So usually if you have a fishing boat of some sort, you normally have a truck. So we came up with the idea of mixing the two businesses that's how we came up with the name Lifted Rippers.
So, and it's just like that. Magic has come together, and now we are Lifted Rippers, combining both of the best worlds. So let's get into the podcast side of things now that you know us a little bit. Okay, this being our first podcast, we're going to go over a lot of random stuff in this first one. But every podcast we do, we're going to try and go over like shop confessions on what we've learned this 3.5 years of being in business and some horror stories. Because if you've ever been a business owner, you know that things go terribly wrong quickly. So we're giving you a little insight into the automotive world. Even if you don't own an automotive shop, this is super helpful for everybody because maybe we can all just come together and realize that it's not just us.
Yeah.
But I do have to confess, this is my first confession. We're already like a minute into this. But when we started Lifted Rippers, I thought it was going to be so much easier.
Oh, it's not easy.
I got into this like, okay, so I do social media. You throw a bunch of stuff together. You can edit some stuff real quick. But honestly, building trucks and show trucks has been the biggest nightmare I think that I've ever encountered. And that sounds horrible. So if you're out there and you build show trucks and you try and say it's easy, I'm going to go ahead and call your bluff on that because I have to be honest, there's a different clientele for me personally, but it seems like the show trucks and the show scene have a such different mindset than just your normal daily drivers. Don't you agree?
Oh, definitely. The show scene's kind of they want everything done a particular way, a certain way, and they want to be just like the next person. But then they want to sit here and nickel and dime you and say, hey, so-and-so is going to do it for this price. Can you do it for this price? And it's, I'm not trying to play cutthroat with any other shop. I don't want to sit here and be known for that either.
Yeah. So basically, my first confession is that this has been a lot harder than I thought getting started. But with the plus side of that, we did grow really quickly in the industry, and I don't know what that was really for, except for that we just are good people at the end of the day, regardless of the random few that don't love us. But you're going to get winners and losers. So if you've ever thought in business, like, hey, this is just not for me, I have upset customers, I have happy customers, remember that most of your customers are going to be happy and they love you and support you, and then you're going to get a handful of customers that think you're horrible. One
thing I've learned is as soon as when you're not the person that's touching every nut and bolt on the truck, some things that happen that are out of your control that wouldn't normally happen. And that's normally when the customer kind of gets upset. Yeah. As soon as you bring somebody else in who doesn't have the same passion as you or doesn't have the same work ethic as you or anything even the same mindset. Yeah. They miss things, they overlook things, they do things their way, and they don't do it the way you want it. And that's just a learning curve that we're all having to learn. I'm sure if you are a business owner, you've learned the same way we did. You have to learn the hard way first to perfect everything. And while we're far from perfection, we are getting there slowly every day and perfecting a perfect team where we can eventually trust everybody to do exactly what we want them to do instead of things we don't want them to do or cutting corners and cheaping out in ways that they shouldn't be. But that's for a different story.
So why... if you had to change one thing about the beginning, the way you started versus now, which one regret you think you have as a business owner doing automotive that you wish you could go back and say, I wish we would have done this differently?
I wish I would have, really trained the guys that I had work for me.
Yeah.
I wish I had a better connection to be able to say, hey, this is what we can do and this is what we need to do versus trying to just go out there and push truck through to make people happy.
Yeah.
Our biggest problem that I've noticed is little small mistakes. If we could fix the small mistakes, we wouldn't have any of the other mistakes, essentially.
Yeah, and by that he means if you're watching this and you're like, oh, you guys make mistakes. In the truck scene or the truck or car world, when you go to a high-end vehicles and these are like people are showcasing them, everything matters. And while I do have myself personally, and I'm very type B, which maybe is a problem, but I can see past like, oh, this is a daily driver. I'm going to get rock chips. I'm going to have some little nicks and crannies here. But in a show scene and car scene, they will go and they will find some, even if you didn't do it, but it pulled it off the lot or it was a used truck, when it comes out of the shop, everything you've touched on that truck is now our fault. And I think that's been the hardest lesson for us to learn.
Absolutely. And then you have lift manufacturers that send you something and maybe you don't agree with it or the customer doesn't agree with it and they want you to change it, but you're putting on what the lift manufacturer sent you.
Yeah.
That's been a hard part. And, maybe some things don't line up perfectly or whatever, and then we get the blame for it. That's kind of the hard thing about the show truck scene. But the daily drivers, the hardest part's going to be when somebody else has already touched the truck and they've tried to put a lift on or fix it themselves, and then we're turning around trying to fix their mistakes, and we got to figure out how to fix their mistakes. Because usually they don't screw up an easy screw up. They screw up and we're having to really put our mind to it and think about fixing the issues that are in front of us.
Yeah, and with that being said, another thing I've learned is I wish that in the beginning stages of a business, I would have held us at a higher, we know what we're worth and we know what we can do and we know how you came from so much diesel mechanics and diesel work. Josh has been to SEMA and fixed trucks that we never even touched just because people couldn't get them fixed. I wish that I would have held our standard higher because I started off lower pricing, trying to, my marketing brain, because that's what I do in this thing. I'm the marketing and social media and all the YouTube. I was like, bring these customers in. We're going to give them the best, lowest price. We're going to do all of the beating the market for pricing. And I wish we would have never done that. So if you're watching this and you're a new business owner, regardless of what it is, just make sure if you're worth it and you have the skill set that you hold yourself at that skill set, even if the customers are slower coming in, because for me personally, that's my biggest regret is dropping those prices so low because we started getting customers that once they start lowballing your prices, even after you've given them a low price, they're not worth the headache, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. We started out real slow in the very beginning. When I say real slow, we got a couple trucks here and there. We were squeaking by, making sure the shop payment was paid, and then word got out. lift kits, basic wheels and tires, easy stuff. Then we turn into, I hired this one person, and then we're leaving some stuff loose because I wasn't directly standing over the top of them, making sure everything was nice and tight. And it's little things. It doesn't matter. I've hired multiple techs throughout the last couple of years, and it seems like every tech seems to have their own little issues that they come up with or that they miss. Right. And it's stuff that as a learning curve, I need to pay attention better for me and go around and I guess be quality control.
Yeah, so we're reiterating it. Our first podcast, we really wanted to dive into who we are, how we got started, and the fact that when we say we got started like 3.5 years ago, we did this with 0 investors, 0 loans. We struggled. There were months when we first opened that we both sat on the couch of our little tiny office with no work coming in. I was stressed out. I was trying to do my own social media to try and push work. We did all the truck shows. We were dumping our bank accounts to marketing for at truck shows. And there were a few months that I was like, what did we do? Did we do the right thing? But it does all come together. So if you're starting a business, again, this first podcast was really to get to know us, that we are normal humans, just like you guys behind the camera. And we struggle. We still to this day struggle, but we're here to be a part of this community and say, as long as you're a good person, you've got a good skill set like you do. Again, I'm not a mechanic. You guys have seen me change oil and tires. I won't do that to you, I promise. But as long as we stay on top of it and we train and have good employees, like he just reiterated, just know your worth, hire good employees, train them properly. And then as long as you have good employees, a good team, then you've got to succeed together, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with that being said, I have a wild question to ask you.
Okay.
If you had to give me one horror story that you've had in the last 3 years of Lifted Rippers from a perspective of shop and or customer, I need to hear I have one horror story, and I don't think he knows it, but I want to know what you think is a horror story here that might help another business watching this that we've had to go through.
Biggest lesson I've always been taught is don't do work with a friend or for a friend or whatever, and I think that's come to light. Yeah. I think helping people that we considered closer friends has been the biggest issue, or my biggest problem is not charging a customer to do something minor and then something else random happens and then we get accused of, well, you were the last to touch it. Like for instance, I had a truck come in, all I did was give it a shot of grease, and then I got accused of something falling off of it, all I did was put grease in your truck. What else did I touch? Now it's my fault.
So without naming anyone's name, for legality reasons, can you give us a story, just a whole story, very briefly, of what happened and how it went terribly wrong and any backlash we might have gotten and what you feel like we could have done differently?
There was a truck recently that we put a lift kit on, which we didn't get all the parts. We were missing a few things. We finally got all the parts, and then we only had 3 days left to complete it. During those 3 days, I was like, hey, we're not going to have time to get it done. The customer was adamant for us to get it done, and just long story short, we rushed it. Do I feel like we did anything physically wrong other than having a chance to go back over everything when it was all said and done? No. Yeah. Do I think things may have got missed, hey, an alignment spec here, an alignment spec there? Yes. But overall, do I think the install was terrible? No. But we got backlash because the truck didn't drive like it was supposed to, even though I iterated multiple times that the truck's going to need an alignment and so we can get it 100%. That's basically the long story. I mean, that's not even the worst, but that's the worst part is we got
bashed all over the internet from this customer that they were pulling parts off this truck saying that we put the wrong part in, but this whole kit came from the lift company. So when I'm watching this all go down, again, I'm not a mechanic, but I was like, how is this wrong if this is what the lift company sent us? And when we called the lift company, they were like, yeah, that's right. So we did exactly like the lift company needed it to be installed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that's not great. And how do you think, what would you have done differently now?
The only thing I would have done differently is, even though the customer was adamant about taking the truck, I wouldn't have let them take it. It would have been, hey, well, we need to make sure this truck's not leaving till me personally, not my guys, not Mariah, not anybody else in the shop, till me personally was 100% satisfied with how the truck was driving and operating. And I'll take credit. I didn't get to drive it. I had to leave beforehand. I don't know. Once it left, my guys were like, hey, this might need a few things adjusted or taken care of. And the customer was like, I don't care. I need to get on the road, whatever, which was fine. But then we got bashed for it. So it's just a learning curve for my guys. They're learning. We're learning. We're just no longer, truck's not leaving, or any vehicle is not leaving until I'm satisfied with it.
At the end of the day, I feel like we try to have this like friendship with a lot of our customers, and maybe they start as friends, or maybe they start as customers and turn into friends. But I definitely have noticed, like, I don't deal well with it, and I'm learning from that. But this customer was wild, as far as like going to canceling checks and doing wild things that now like have a back. You know, it hurts a small business when there was such an easy fix to it. Like, hey, when you're done at the show that it wasn't ready for, and you were aware it wasn't ready for, you know, next time it sucks because the next person that would have been okay with like pulling it off a trailer, putting it in the show because it looked amazing.
Yeah, it turned out.
And then, it turned out great. And then being like, okay, I get that you have to redo it, bringing it back. We tighten everything. We do the proper alignment. We rushed it because it was a friend and he had to have it at a show, and it didn't even make it to the show.
Yeah.
So that's Josh's horror story. I have my own horror story, and then we're going to get into confessions of the shop and then be done with this first podcast. So got some good more things coming for you. But my horror story is we were a year into business, and we had just hired a new office girl, and we were out filming a YouTube for fishing, and she calls us and she's like, hey, there's a guy who wants to buy some semi tires. And I was like, okay, sweet. So we were helping her over the phone because, you know, we still keep in the loop of all of our employees. Mm-hmm. And they ordered semi tires. Easy peasy, sent them the invoice just like we do with everything.
Yep.
They got the invoice. This guy was buying semi tires from us. Super normal. We drop ship stuff daily. It's not abnormal for us. We'd only been in business this year, so remember this. And then the next day we got the same call from her. Hey, this same guy needs more semi tires. And we were like, okay. I mean, yeah, maybe he just forgot to add some more in there. Same thing. We sent him an invoice. And then what happened the third day?
He called again, asking for 10 more of the ones that he just ordered. I immediately said, hey, something's not right, because typically a customer that's buying this many tires left and right is going to have some kind of resale certificate or a tax exemption because they're buying so many. And this customer didn't offer us anything. Well, comes to find out, he was a scammer and didn't buy the third set, but he canceled his card. So now we're $8,000 out on a set of tires.
So yeah, so we're coming back in. We've already had this guy on camera pick up the tires on security. So he's paid for them on his own invoice. We never inputted the credit card. He came up and picked up the tires, signed for them, and left. And the next day flagged him as fraud. And so we fought American Express and our invoicing system for like ever.
Yep.
And we lost $7,000 as a new business. Again, if you remember the beginning, we did this with no investments, no loans. And I was like, we were finally gaining traction. We were doing so well. And that was days of crying and just being like, there are so many bad people out there.
There really are.
And if you're a business owner, again, watching this, or just anybody, we protected ourselves the best we possibly could. They couldn't find the guy, but to bring this to light, actually about 8 months ago, a federal agency with the actual government came into our shop, badged up and everything, and they actually found the guy.
Nice.
And they put us on the list to be part of the like restitution, and they had done this with 31 shops in the state of Florida, and we were one of the smaller amounts that they had taken for. Mm-hmm. What was the other shop for?
There was another shop that had over $40,000 out that they lost.
We got scammed, and the only thing that we could have done differently as a business at that point would have been, next time we do purchases, I guess that high, make them come in. He sent me his ID. He said, I'm telling you guys, when you're behind this and you're like, oh, you should have got an ID and an invoice. We did all the right proper things. So now we do have like fraud protection, but there's some things you're never going to be able to fight if you can't find the person. And this guy, we never met him. He never come in. So That's my horror story. But we do like to show you guys the realness behind what's actually happening, because every day on social media, we're posting our happy, funny stuff. We're going crazy viral if you guys are watching all the silly, goofy things that make the guys at the shop do that they hate doing. So it's good to show you guys we're human, we're normal, we have this daily thing that we fight with, and if you are struggling with the same thing as a business owner, it's not just you. We work with tons of business owners across the United States and other countries, and they deal with the same thing. Like our stories all sound really similar.
Yeah, every time we meet up at shows or conventions or even just have a phone call conversation, they're, even without bringing it up, they're telling us some kind of dramatic story that just unfolded, and it's like, we don't feel so bad because it's just as crazy as the story we had 3 days ago.
So our podcast is here to show you that you can still do it. You just got to push through it. And I do have some confessions or questions I've been asked about confessions, and I'm blonde and I don't remember all this stuff, so I'm going to read it. Okay, so I had a customer horror story on there. Shop confessions. So confess something that you and the team do that you want to bring light to. So like, do you guys stay late? Do you guys leave early?
So
is there a confession you have?
We work more than your typical shop. We're not a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 company where, hey, we're going to get it done. We tell you we're going to get it done in a deadline. We're going to do everything we can to get it done in that deadline. We've been to the shop. We've pulled all-nighters. We've pulled 3 or 4 hours of being past time just to make sure stuff gets done. We've worked weekends long where we've got 2 hours of sleep just to make sure that the deadline that we said we were going to hit actually would get hit. The biggest problem that I've noticed, though, is sometimes part availability is what hurts us more than anything.
Yeah.
I tell a customer, yeah, we'll have it done at this time, but then the parts don't show up. So now I've had to restate and say, once the parts show up, I can have it done in X amount of days or X amount of hours. But our biggest problem lately has been parts.
Yeah, so I definitely am learning that with the parts, and I usually give ourselves an extra couple of days now, and customers don't love it. Sometimes they're like, why is this going to take so long when it's only a 6-hour project? But it's not. At the end of the day, it's behind the scenes. It's not always on us. It's a lot of parts. But I mean, that's something we're learning. Again, there's a lot of happiness around here. We'll share those at the end too. But I'd have to say my biggest confession that nobody knows about is that sometimes I've pulled money out of my own pocket to make customers happy because I wanted to keep our reputation intact. And I don't know if it really ever worked out for us.
It's never worked out. I've done the same. I've spent money on multiple trucks that I'm like, you know what, we're already in here. I don't want to have to ask the customer to approve this. I don't want to waste time. I'm just like, I don't want to ask them for more money. I just want to get it done with. We throw stuff at it. Like just recently, like last week, we had a lady that brought her truck in. She had taken it to multiple other shops and they couldn't figure out the alignment issue with it. Then we found out that somebody had changed some lift spindles on her truck. She had a lifted truck, but it had lift spindles that were incorrect. And then she ended up having to basically buy a whole new lift for us to fix it for the most cost effective.
Yeah, so she was like in 2 lifts, basically.
Yeah, and then we get all the way to the very end and her upper control arms are shot. So my guys called me, like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, I was a little frustrated, like I can't keep putting time and money into this truck. Well, 30 minutes went by and I called them back and I was like, you know what? Put brand new upper control arms on the truck. Let's just get them over with. Let's make sure that this truck can go down the road because this is a woman's daily vehicle. She's already broke down multiple times saying she just really wants her truck back and she really needs it back. And I have a heart. Like, I'm going to sit here and make sure people can drive down the road.
You have a heart?
Yeah, it's rare, but I have one. But I did go ahead and pay for the upper control arms just because I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to disappoint her. I wanted her to have her truck back.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, our automotive, that might have been really confusing for you, but yeah, I have tried to gain a reputation so highly because, again, we're a new business and I wanted to make sure, I want everyone to love us, and that's just never going to happen. So that's my confession. We've got some great stuff going around behind the scenes. I'm really glad you guys stayed through for our horror stories, our confessions. Owning a business is not one for the weak, but with all of this, through all of our trials and all the issues we've had and all the great things we've had so many amazing things happen. So as you can tell, we're sitting in our very first podcast for Lifted Rippers. It's our room. And we're actually upstairs at our new shop. And I'm going to take you guys around and show you a little bit at the end if you want to stay to the end to see this. I know most podcasts are just talking, but if you want to see a little bit of B-roll of this, we finally have made it. We made the big decision to upgrade. We've outgrown our little shop.
Yep.
And I feel like our good work ethic and the fact that we're here for the people and we work for the people, of all different types of, like, how much money they have. We work with everybody, and that's really what we've gained our reputation by, is that we're not just big lifted SEMA show trucks. We're actually daily drivers. We're semis. We're getting people off, they're stuck on the side of the road. We're helping them get their trucks back up and running. So we have upgraded big time. And now we are in a larger 9,000 square foot shop where we can actually do everything here. So we can do diesel mechanics, diesel work, big semis, our same custom show builds. You know, we're going to take them on as good clientele and make sure that they get put on a schedule for a length of time. We're going to do boats here. We're going to do everything that we can. Downstairs, we have a beautiful showroom. If you guys saw our release video, so you can come in and actually hang out and enjoy the coffee bar and buy apparel and get to know Josh and I if we're here or he's not under a truck. And I'm really, really excited to be able to expand that to you guys, the people. We still drop ship if you guys ever want the lowest pricing. With that being said, I have to always put this in there. I know y'all get great deals on Marketplace, but I promise you the Marketplace deals are not always going to be the most cost effective for you.
Yeah.
So make sure before you buy those used wheels or those used tires or those used lift kits especially, give us a call. We'll help you all the way across the United States. I or myself or Josh will always answer the phones. Typically, we're always here to help you guys. We truly are trying to build a foundation of automotive where it's different than every bad mechanic that gets a bad reputation.
You were asking about a horror story? Let me give you one little horror story. We had a customer that bought a set of wheels, and he was like, oh, it needs new tires. We took the tire off, and the wheel had been bent really bad, welded back up, and he was like, I had no clue. The guy ended up basically having to send the wheel out, get completely fixed by a trustworthy wheel shop before we could even get him back on the road. And that was, he was really disappointed, but we also kind of said, hey, now that for what you've spent on everything, you could have bought a nice set of wheels through us, just so think about us next time.
Yeah, it's not, I promise you guys, it's not a sales pitch. We actually truly enjoy trucks. I like the shiny lifted trucks. Josh is obviously a diesel mechanic. That's not always as pretty on social media, so we don't post it a lot. I'll get better, I promise. But we're here for you guys. I'm so glad you tuned into our first podcast. We are so glad to have grown as fast as we've grown. We're only not even 4 years into this, and we're in a 9,000 square foot shop. So we're doing everything we've talked about.
Yep.
We have so many happy customers, and the response of us moving to a bigger shop a little bit farther south has been already epic. We've only been open for 4 days down here, and we're here to help y'all. So if you guys ever need anything across the way, if you're just following us in from Instagram or Facebook, these are who's behind the camera. I'm the one always nagging at them for the stupid videos. And Josh is here to make sure everybody stays on track, on task.
And I'm the one with the dry humor.
Yeah, so if you ever see his face like this, it's not that he hates his life. It's just Josh's face.
It is just my face. I'll get better.
He really does like us, I think.
Oh, I do.
Crickets. No, just kidding. All right, guys. Until next time, I'm going to show you guys around the shop real quick, show you what you guys can see next on the next videos.
But hold up now.
Oh.
Weren't we supposed to say what we're dropping at SEMA?
Oh. So, announcement. What are we taking to SEMA, Josh? Wait, before he starts on the SEMA and exposing what we're doing, like 9 weeks ago, we had one vehicle we were building for SEMA, and it was a Jeep for our girl, Jaylan, and we weren't going to take anything to SEMA. So tell us now what's going on.
Somebody decided to sell her truck, and now it looks like we've got a 2025 F450 Platinum that is going to SEMA on a 17-inch any level on, of course, our lovely KG1s and Furies. But there's a few other things that we haven't really talked about, and we're really kind of dropping the ball on what we're actually taking to SEMA all at once. But there's a few other goodies. Just stick around. You'll have to find out what actually is happening. I actually dropped the truck off today to start the wrap. 24 days left. And also this year at SEMA, it's our first time as Josh and I as Unlifted Rippers that we're actually going to be on a spokesman panel for Shop Monkey. So at SEMA, you can actually come to the Shop Monkey booth on, I think, Tuesday and Thursday. I'll put the times in here below when you guys can come and talk to Josh and I and meet Josh. I know there's a lot of new faces around here. It's Shop Monkey, something that we use. And if you guys are interested in have a shop that does something similar and you want an easy, like I'm telling you, blonde hair, things are very difficult for me at times. Shop Monkey has made it so easy for me. It's not even a sponsored post. I literally am an ambassador for them to help you guys. So if you guys want to switch your systems around to something super easy, there's canned services, there's like, messages, alerts, everything is on there. You guys can come talk to us at SEMA about it, or if you don't, always message us. We're here for it. So that's pretty exciting. We get to go to SEMA with a company we're working with. Yeah, I was pretty stubborn the first couple of years, and I tried to do it my own way. I'm glad I finally took the leap of faith and changed into a different company, because this company has saved me and my techs a lot of headaches. And if you have seen our videos, go to our Instagram. We've talked a lot about Shop Monkey, but that's pretty exciting for us to be able to go to SEMA with, should I tell him his truck? He's got a 2026 F450 King Ranch, my 2025 F450 Platinum, and then a Jeep that we're taking for a customer / friend. I'm pretty excited. I hope you all love the confessions and the horror stories. The next episode,
We will be dropping another podcast once a month. It's going to have even more in-depth horror stories and wild confessions from our shop. Maybe you can learn from us. Maybe you can laugh with us or cry with us. But until then, we gotta lock in. We got 24 days.
We got a lot to do. Maybe our next podcast will be us driving on the way to SEMA. We'll just be doing it in the truck talking about it.
All right, y'all. Until next time, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Much love.